Hello everyone, and welcome back again to the channel Cap Social Network, aka Capri Social Network. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about the bitter Black American woman, the bitter, to be exact, modern day Black American woman, and the movie that laid the blueprint for most of today's modern day bitter Black women. And the movie is by the name of Diary of a Mad Black Woman. And it all starts out by both Kimberly Elise, who is one of the main stars of the movie. Some of you may know her from the movie Set It Off, which is one of her most popular movies. And another movie will be Woman Thou Art Loose, a T.D. Jakes movie. And her husband, the guy who played her husband, I'm not familiar with any of his prior work before this film, but he happens to be named Steve Harris, who happens to be a prominent lawyer who has it all, who has a nice mansion, who happens to have a nice car, and in addition, he also happens to have Kimberly Elise as his wife. Both of them in the movie happen to be living the American dream, so to speak. And it all starts out with them being at a gala and on behalf of him winning an award because he happens to be a lawyer in the film. So comes the time for him to get up to the podium and give some words of expression on his behalf of being honored with the award that he receives. At one while, he gives honor to Miss Kimberly Elise on behalf of how good of a wife she is to him, and only for it to be a facade, because that later on in the movie, there happens to be a scene where she goes up to his workplace, to his law firm, to bring him food for lunch, only for him to come out of his office and spot him with his mistress, who he happens to have a child with as well. As a result, she is extremely Miss Kimberly Elise crushed and disappointed because of it, which I can understand, because she has some of the utmost love for this man. Not only that, and in addition, he happens to be very narcissistic. He happens to come off as arrogant and a complete a-hole, because I'm trying as much as possible to use less profanity due to how someone in a prior video said how, or questioned in the comment section, why did I have to use so much profanity in a prior video? So I'm trying to tone down the profanity and the cussing. Anyway, and to cut to the chase, he eventually moves her out of the house that happens to be in his name, Mr. Steve Harris, and put her out on the street with nowhere else to go and nowhere else to turn to, until she eventually moves in and temporarily stays with Tyler Perry, who happens to play in a whole lot of you know him by the character of My Dear. Anyway, she happens to have to settle for a regular job as a waitress at a restaurant, as a result of him not leaving her with any alimony. Because there is also a scene when they go to court to determine whether she could be able to become eligible for some of his compensation, some alimony on behalf of his good paying profession as a lawyer, only for her to refuse to partake in receiving any compensation from him on behalf of alimony. Later on in the movie, that's when she meets a guy who happens to be a furniture assistant, both a furniture assistant and a laborer at a steel production plant by the name of Orlando, real name Shamar Moore. And a lot of you may happen to know him from the soap opera The Young and the Restless, and as a temporary host and one time former host of the now defunct dance show Soul Train. Anyway, and to sum it all up, after seeing what Miss Kimberly Elise went through throughout the whole movie, this just goes to show you why there are so many bitter black women nowadays. And on behalf of another reason why is because how some of them usually pick some of the most problematic and toxic men usually procreate with, to have kids with, only for those guys to usually end up leaving them in return and cheating on them in the process, leaving them to be single mothers. That's another reason, main reason why there are more bitter black women, especially when it comes to modern day bitter black women. On top of that, they comes in all forms, because there are some women, some bitter black women in our families, where they may be either bitter mother, for all of us that may have grown up in fatherless homes, and there will be instances where our mothers would take and vent all their frustrations out on us as a result of them being done wrongfully by our dads, either our dads or our siblings, fathers. For some of us that may have siblings siblings that may happen to have different daddies than we do. And on behalf of, they also come in forms of a bitter auntie, bitter grandmother, and so on and so on. Even women on your job, a bitter mother-in-law as well, who may have gotten cheated on and in the process divorced at one point, only to be jealous. If you're a man married to her daughter, may happen to be jealous of how good both you and her daughter may happen to have it married, because there are not only jealous mother-in-laws who are sometimes jealous of their mother's marriages, especially their daughter's marriages may be going just fine without any toxicity or no drama, but they could also be bitter if she may be that mother-in-law, that one mother-in-law that may have been through a lot of toxic relationships and a toxic marriage, as a result may have divorced because of her ex-husband that may have either cheated on her, or after divorcing him left her with no child support or no alimony. Once again, this movie, Diary of a Black Woman, and true enough, there always has been bitter black women, and excuse me because I'm kind of under weather, due to a lot of their poor choices in men, due to a lot of them picking some of the most problematic men. But this movie really set it off and laid the blueprint once again on behalf of the modern day bitter black woman. So I'm not going to keep on dragging this video, folks, because I already have proved my point and said enough but before. And I'm sure a lot of you long-time followers know the routine. And first and foremost, smash that like button by letting me know how much you like the video. Also, share the video so the video could become more viral. Comment on it. Last but not least, subscribe to the channel. For all my brand new followers that are just finding out about my channel, when you choose, and I really would appreciate if you choose to subscribe to my channel, because I do have more upcoming content in the not so distant future. Make sure when you get the chance to pick what kind of upcoming videos you would like to be notified of, you'll have either a choice to pick none, personalized, or all. Make sure you pick all videos, upcoming videos to be notified of. And if you would like a shortcut from the people that are brand new to my channel to my long time followers, if you would like a shortcut to this channel, Cap Social Network, all you have to do is just put in @Capri Social Network 1261. Till next time, I hope you guys have a good Friday and good